A 68-year-old patient once sat across from me and said, "Dr. Amara, I've been doing things the same way for decades, but lately, something just feels off." He wasn't sick. He wasn't on any new medication, and nothing major had changed in his daily routine. But something was quietly working against him, affecting his health, his prostate, his circulation, even his ability to feel pleasure. Not because he was masturbating, but because of the technique he'd been using his whole life. And just like so many men over 50, he had no idea it had been slowly putting strain on his body for years. I'm Dr. Amara Cruz, a urologist who has spent over a decade helping men in their 60s and beyond stay strong, keep their circulation healthy, and maintain their confidence without relying on medication or feeling embarrassed. Most men grow up hearing that masturbation is always good for you, and in many cases, that's true. But as the body ages, the way a man stimulates himself can begin to have effects he never expected. After 60, certain long-standing habits can slowly put stress on the prostate, the blood vessels, and even sensitivity. And the tricky part is, there's usually no discomfort, no obvious sign, and nothing to warn you that something needs to change. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 masturbation mistakes I see most often in older men, and more importantly, how to correct them before they start affecting your energy, your performance, or your long-term health. And listen closely. The final mistake is the one almost every man makes without even realizing it. I'd be surprised if you haven't been doing it too. Before we jump in, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Every week, I share real medical guidance designed specifically for men over 60. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing this community grow across different countries and cultures. Let's begin with the first mistake, the one that slowly changes the way your brain and body process pleasure without you even noticing. For many older men, the biggest issue isn't age or hormones. It's relying on high-intensity visual content as the main source of arousal. Over the years, so many men in their late 60s and 70s have told me the same thing. "Dr. Amara, I barely feel anything anymore. I don't understand what happened." They aren't broken. They're overstimulated. After 60, your dopamine system, the part of the brain that handles pleasure, motivation, and satisfaction, becomes less adaptable. It doesn't recover from constant stimulation the way it used to. When you jump from clip to clip, from novelty to novelty, your brain gets overwhelmed with signals it was never meant to handle, and the only way it knows how to cope is by turning the sensitivity down. So the body may be healthy, but the brain stops reacting. Real touch loses its impact. Connection feels distant. Pleasure becomes more mechanical than meaningful. And the saddest part? Most men think this is just getting older. It isn't. It's dopamine fatigue. Your brain saying, "This level of stimulation is too much for me." If you've noticed a drop in sensitivity or interest, this could easily be the reason. The fix? Give your brain a reset. Take a 14-day break from visual stimulation. Reconnect with sensation through touch, breath, and presence. Let your body relearn what natural arousal feels like, not the overload of endless scrolling. The second mistake I see all the time has nothing to do with frequency or technique. It's the position men choose without thinking twice. Many older men tell me the bathroom feels like the only private place they have. A locked door, a quiet space, no interruptions. So the toilet becomes the default spot. But here's the problem. When you sit in that hunched, compressed posture, you're putting direct pressure on the blood vessels and nerves that supply your pelvic region. For a young man, the body can bounce back from this. But after 60, circulation becomes the backbone of prostate health, sexual strength, and bladder control. And that seated position does the exact opposite. It restricts everything your pelvic area needs to function well. I've had men come to me with groin discomfort, weak urinary flow, lingering dribbling after they finish, or a tight, achy feeling around the pelvis, and they never realized it was connected to where they were doing it. Your pelvic region needs room to expand, not be folded or pinned down. The solution? Move away from the toilet entirely. Try standing, reclining, or lying on your back. These positions support blood flow, not block it. Your prostate and your comfort will thank you for it. The third mistake is rushing through the experience as if it's something to finish, not something to feel. Many older men treat self-pleasure like a task. Let me just get this over with. But when you move too fast, your nervous system goes into tension mode instead of pleasure mode. Your heart rate spikes too quickly, blood vessels tighten, and your body never enters the calm, oxytocin-rich state that actually restores energy and mood. You may climax, but instead of satisfaction, you end up feeling tired, empty, or disconnected. The fix: slow down. Let your body relax into the experience instead of rushing toward the end. Your nervous system now responds better to calm stimulation, not urgency. The fourth mistake is completely ignoring the pelvic floor, the group of muscles that support your bladder, prostate, and erection strength. Most men don't even know these muscles exist until something starts going wrong. But after 60, a weak pelvic floor can lead to reduced sensitivity, weaker erections, dribbling after urination, and that heavy feeling in the pelvis. And when you stimulate yourself without engaging these muscles, or worse, by pushing down or tensing incorrectly, you weaken them even more. The fix: during arousal, gently contract the same muscles you'd use to stop urinating midstream. Hold for a few seconds, then release. This simple activation boosts circulation and brings back control and sensation over time. And this brings us to the final mistake, the one I mentioned earlier, the mistake almost every man makes without realizing it. The fifth mistake is using too much pressure or force. As sensitivity fades with age, many men instinctively press harder, grip tighter, or use rougher surfaces, believing it will help them feel more, but it does the opposite. The nerves in the penis are extremely delicate, and years of excessive pressure can cause micro tears, scarring, reduced elasticity, and a gradual loss of sensation. You may think you're compensating, but you're actually damaging the very tissue you're trying to stimulate. The fix: be gentler. Use lighter touch, slower rhythm, and smoother surfaces. Your body now responds far better to patience and softness than to force. If this video helped you, I truly appreciate you giving it a like. It helps this message reach more men who need it. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, feel free to share it with them. You never know how much of a difference a simple video can make in someone's life. If you're new here, I'd love to have you as part of this community. Every week, I share practical, science-based guidance to help men over 60 stay strong, confident, and connected to their bodies. So if that sounds helpful, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the bell. And remember, your best years don't disappear with age. They grow with awareness, intention, and care. Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and keep choosing the habits that make you feel alive again.